Part 20.19 Surah Taha. Assalamu alaikum. Welcome back to Sufi Essence with Hammad Syed. The spiritual betrayal of the Israelites, who turned to a calf for worship just moments after being saved by a magnificent divine miracle, is one of the most poignant and heartbreaking episodes in the history of the prophets. In our last discourse, Prophet Moses' peace be upon him, righteous fury and profound sorrow were on full display as he confronted his people. Now, the narrative takes an even more intimate and emotionally charged turn. Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, in his shock and anger, turns to the person he trusted most, his brother, Prophet Haroon, peace be upon him. The verses before us now capture this difficult and powerful exchange between two prophets, an exchange that reveals the depth of their bond, the wisdom of Prophet Haroon, peace be upon him, and the ultimate confrontation with the spiritual architect of the rebellion, the Samiri. It is a timeless lesson in the importance of leadership, the nature of accusation, and the insidious cunning of those who lead others astray. From a Sufi perspective, this narrative is a deep exploration of the inner dynamics of spiritual leadership and the nature of internal and external corruption. Prophet Moses' peace be upon him, anger at his brother, while appearing harsh, is a manifestation of his profound passion for Allah's unity and the spiritual well-being of his people. Prophet Haroon's peace be upon him response, however, is the epitome of wisdom and humility. He chose to avoid a schism, understanding that the spiritual test was so great that a physical confrontation could have destroyed the entire community. He embodied the principle of patience, sabr, in the face of immense trial. The subsequent confrontation with the Samiri reveals the true nature of the spiritual deceiver, a person who misinterprets a divine sign for a worldly gain and who is consumed by the arrogance of their own unique spiritual sight. This episode teaches us that the greatest trials are often internal, and the most dangerous enemies are not always the ones with outward force, but those who can subtly corrupt the heart and lead it to its own spiritual ruin. Surah Taha 2290, 195. 91, he said, O Haroon, what prevented you, when you saw that they had gone astray, from following me? 92, he said, did you then disobey my command? 93, he said, son of my mother, do not seize me by my beard or my head. Indeed, I feared that you would say, you have created a division among the children of Israel, and you did not await my word. 94, Musa said, what is your case, O Samiri? 95, he said, I saw what they did not see, so I took a handful of the dust of the messenger's footprint and cast it in. And thus did my soul make it appear good to me. The verses begin with Prophet Moses's, peace be upon him, emotionally charged questions to his brother in the 91st and 92nd verses. He first asks, O Haroon, what prevented you, when you saw that they had gone astray, from following me? This question reveals his initial shock and grief. He cannot comprehend how his people, who had just witnessed the magnificent miracles, could have fallen into such a state of spiritual blindness. He then follows with an even more direct and cutting question. Did you then disobey my command? This question is not a true accusation, but an emotional expression of his pain. He had entrusted his brother, Prophet Haroon, peace be upon him, with the spiritual leadership of the people, and he is now confronted with a situation that seems to point to a profound failure of that trust. He is a shepherd who has returned to find his flock in disarray, and in his moment of sorrow and anger, he instinctively turns to the one he left in charge. The questions are born not of a lack of love, but of a profound passion for Allah's cause. He is a prophet whose heart is completely consumed by his mission, and he cannot stand the thought of any spiritual betrayal. Prophet Haroon's peace be upon him response in the 93rd verse is a masterpiece of humility, wisdom, and compassion, he says. Son of my mother, do not seize me by my beard or my head. Indeed, I feared that you would say you have created a division among the children of Israel, and you did not await my word. His opening words, son of my mother, are a beautiful and poignant plea that immediately reminds his brother of their shared humanity and their deep bond, a bond that transcends their prophetic roles. He is not addressing Moses, peace be upon him, as a prophet, but as a brother. This simple phrase immediately diffuses the tension and softens his brother's heart. He then offers his profound and strategic reasoning. He had feared that a confrontation would have caused an even greater spiritual disaster. The word he uses for division tafk signifies a deep schism, a split in the community that would have been irreparable. He knew that the people were in a fragile state, and a physical conflict would have destroyed their unity. He chose the path of patience, knowing that his brother would return and resolve the matter with divine authority. His choice was one of profound wisdom, a recognition that sometimes the greatest act of leadership is not to act with brute force, but to wait with patience for the right moment. Satisfied with his brother's explanation, Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, turns from the internal matter to the external cause of the corruption. In the 94th verse, he addresses the spiritual architect of the rebellion. Musa said, "What is your case, O Samiri?" The question is direct, calm, and authoritative. It is a powerful shift from the emotional confrontation with his brother to a judicial inquiry. Prophet Moses, peace be upon him, is no longer a grieving brother, but a prophet of Allah, a judge, and a spiritual leader, who must get to the heart of the matter. The question, "What is your case?" is an invitation for the Samiri to explain his motives and his spiritual reality. It is a final opportunity for him to confess his crime before facing his judgment. The narrative has moved from the tragedy of the people's fall to the profound cunning of the one who led them astray. The Samiri's response in the 95th verse is a bizarre and arrogant confession that reveals his profound spiritual sickness. He said, "I saw what they did not see, so I took a handful of the dust of the messenger's footprint and cast it in. And thus did my soul make it appear good to me." His first statement, "I saw what they did not see," is a claim of unique, superior spiritual sight. He believes that he saw something special in the footprints of the divine messenger, an unseen power that he could harness. This arrogance, this self-proclaimed spiritual uniqueness, is the root of his spiritual disease. He then explains his actions. "I took a handful of the dust of the messenger's footprint and cast it in." The word messenger, Rasul, here refers to the divine messenger, possibly the angel Gabriel, peace be upon him, who came to Moses, peace be upon him, with the divine tablets. The Samiri, in his spiritual blindness, saw a physical sign where others saw a spiritual one, took a physical substance, the dust of the footprints, and imbued it with a power that was only in his own mind. He believed that he could manipulate and control a divine essence for his own ends. But the most important part of his confession is the final statement. "And thus did my soul make it appear good to me." This is the ultimate spiritual admission. It was not the dust or the people or even Pharaoh that caused his spiritual ruin. It was his own soul, the nafs al-amara, that made this evil act appear beautiful and good to him. It was a disease of his own heart, a corruption that led him to believe he could create a god and lead a people astray. This final admission is a profound lesson for the Sufi, a powerful reminder that the true source of all spiritual corruption is the state of the nafs that whispers, deceives, and makes falsehood appear as truth. Hadith, the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, taught, "The believer's tongue is behind his heart, but the hypocrite's heart is behind his tongue." When a believer intends something, he thinks about it first with his heart, and then he does it. When the hypocrite intends something, he speaks it with his tongue, and he does it without thinking. Ibn Abi Shabah, Hadith 26164. This profound hadith helps us understand the spiritual state of the characters in this narrative. Prophet Haroon, peace be upon him, embodies the believer whose tongue is behind his heart. His response was not impulsive or emotional. It was a carefully considered act born of a heart that was full of wisdom and a deep understanding of the spiritual reality of the situation. The Samiri, on the other hand, embodies the hypocrite. His action was impulsive, a result of his inner spiritual arrogance that had not been purified by thought or sincerity. His confession, which was a result of his own self-deception, was a manifestation of a heart that was not aligned with truth. This hadith reminds us that true wisdom is a matter of the heart, a state of spiritual clarity that precedes all action and all speech. Let us now supplicate, drawing from the profound lessons of these verses, is asking Allah to grant us a deeper understanding and to guide our every step. Ya Allah, grant us the wisdom of Prophet Haroon, peace be upon him, who chose unity and patience over a hasty confrontation. Protect us from the arrogance of the Samiri, who believed his own soul could make falsehood appear as truth. and make our hearts so pure that we are always guided by your light, and never by the whispers of our own naf. May Allah illuminate your heart and mind with the light of this divine ilm. May He make your channel a beacon of guidance for all who seek spiritual clarity and truth. May your efforts be a source of immense reward, and may you be granted the highest stations of paradise. The peace and blessings of Allah always be upon you and your loved ones. May He grant you unwavering steadfastness on the path of truth, and may your work be a testament to His magnificent names, ArRahman and ArRahim. Ameen.